Hello and welcome to the Young Film Academy podcast, the essential podcast for teenagers looking to find their way into the creative industries. My name is Dan Allen. I am joined by co-host Ellen Thomas. How's it going?
Hi Dan. Yes, it's going well. I'm very excited.
That is good. I am so excited.
Yeah, we've got a big guest today.
Very big guest. Very cool guest.
Today's guest is Nick de Semlyen, who is the editor of Empire magazine, the world's biggest movie magazine. He has been a film journalist and editor of Empire for over 20 years and interviewed some huge stars, such as Martin Scorsese, Al Pacino, and James Cameron. So, yeah. Doesn't get better than this.
It doesn't. I mean, what I think is the coolest film magazine in the UK or the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very excited.
Not picking favourites, but
no, I'm very excited.
That's exactly what Dan has just done.
but anyway, without any further ado, Nick de Semlyen, welcome to the podcast. How's it going?
Thanks for having me. Very well. Very happy to be doing this after a long day of emails and Teams meetings and all that stuff. So yeah, this is good. Thanks for having me on.
No, we're very excited. Well, maybe that could be a good place to start. Actually, is the typical day question of what it looks like. Obviously, emails and questions and stuff. Are we still in this sort of in office, out of office hybrid, or are you in the office a lot more?
Yeah, we've kind of we've gone back. It's 2 days a week. So Empire's office is near Warren Street, and we're there
near us.
Oh, okay. Nice. All right, maybe the same building. Who knows? But we're in 2 days a week, and the rest of the time at home. And a typical day. I don't know if there is a typical day. It's kind of we have the monthly press cycles. So it's like you're on a conveyor belt. If you remember the scene in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom where he's on a conveyor belt and he's being pulled towards a large stone thing that's crunching people's bodies into dust. That's basically what our month is like, and we're being pulled inexorably towards something horrible, which hopefully means we will finish the magazine on time. It's more fun than I made it sound just then, but you know.
Is it like no matter what, something is getting printed? So if you guys do your job right, it's going to be another glorious issue, and if you do your job badly, it's going to be a misprint with terrible spelling, blank pages, and you know, the wrong colour for photos. Is that sort of worst case scenario?
Yeah.
Or is the worst case scenario, do you actually just delay? Has it ever been late? Is that a thing that's ever happened?
No, I don't, not to my knowledge. The worst one I've ever had, I'm not going to say which one it was. It was a few years ago, and we had no cover, and it was the second press day. So we have two press days generally. So half the magazine goes on the first one, half the magazine goes on the second one. And you do not want to not have a cover on second press day. Like, that is the worst scenario. And I just remember the creative director and I were just freaking out, and we had a backup which would have been not good.
Did you ever think, like, should we just put ourselves on it? Like,
just the final issue before the magazine closes is just my face, this Empire. It could happen, but no. Fortunately, we pulled out of that one, but that one was gnarly, and I remember just lying down on the ground at one point and just on the floor and just being like, oh god, like catatonic. But it worked out, but it was a close one. But no, we're generally okay. I mean, stuff does get done under pressure, and sometimes stuff makes it in that you wish you'd had more time to catch or to fix. But it's all part
Are you
of the fun.
always preparing on a month-by-month basis, or might you be preparing, say, like 3 months ahead for multiple like issues at once, or
I can
is it
beat
sort of
that
month?
Yeah, at the moment, actually today I was sending off some messages about something which is almost a year and a half away. We don't always plan that far ahead, but we find that the longer you plan ahead, the more time you have to do really cool stuff, and also to beat your competitors. And we still have to, you know, we're still vying for like big world exclusives with, you know, these big American online like juggernauts, and we are relatively small compared to them. But we're kind of, you know, we're slugging it out and winning stuff, and it just really helps to have those conversations early and really plan some special stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like a blank sheet, like, you know, July 1st. We're like, oh my god, what are we doing by the end of the month? I was thinking a bit like South Park do that. Like, have you seen that documentary where it's 7 days to air?
Oh, I think, yeah, I think I did catch that, or yeah, I vaguely remember. But yeah, I remember that being a very sweaty process for them of just
Yeah,
making.
where they literally have nothing day one,
Yeah.
but they know that they're sort of releasing something right by the end.
Well, that was what it was like. It has been like that for us when the pandemic happened, because
Interesting.
my first month as editor. So at the time I was acting editor because my predecessor, the great Terry White, went on maternity leave, and I filled in. And literally a month into my tenure, like we had all these plans, all these photo shoots, all these covers, and then cinema imploded and all the cinemas closed down, and Hollywood shut. And I was kind of like, what button did I press? Feeling a bit like, Sam Neill in Jurassic Park when all the fences go down and he's like, what did I do? But yeah, that's what happened, and we had no actors doing any interviews and no films coming out, and it was very stressful, and we had lots of blank pages. So that's
but you did have Gal Gadot singing Imagine to help us through the pandemic, which I'm sure could have been worth at least a double spread.
Yeah. Well, we did have Wonder Woman 1984 on the cover during that time, so I remember thinking like there were still a few films coming out and there was still like little sparks of life, so I remember being very happy for Wonder Woman at that point.
That must have been like a weird, almost like personal form of it must have felt like a personal torture chamber, that the moment you've been elevated to have this job, suddenly cinema itself is taken away in like a seemingly completely unpredictable turn of events. How did you sort of manage that and the pressure?
Yeah, it did feel like some kind of psyops. I'm not quite egocentric enough to believe that cinema closed down just to test me. But it did feel a bit like a cosmic joke. And I don't know how we got through it. It seems like a million years ago now. Like it just seems like another world. Now that things have kind of gone back to normal or relative normal. But it was a weird time, but I got through it really just having an amazing team and an incredibly creative bunch of people across the board, like editors, writers, designers, and we were literally spinning issues out of thin air. And it taught quite an interesting lesson, an important lesson, which is that you just have to ask for stuff, and you just literally never know who will say yes. And some of the most amazing things that we've managed to do happened during that time when there was like no reason for the person to do it because they had nothing to promote. So for instance, we asked Tom Hanks. He did actually have something to promote. He had a film called Greyhound, which he had directed, but Tom Hanks literally had COVID and was in a hotel room in quarantine, and we asked him, would you write a feature for us? And Tom Hanks would never, that's not a normal thing that you would ask. Like, Tom Hanks is quite busy. He normally wouldn't sit down and write you a 3,000 word piece, but he agreed because he was stuck in a hotel room. And so these amazing kind of miraculous, cool things happened. So it was a hard time, but also very exciting. And it felt good, actually, looking back to kind of just celebrate cinema. That's what we did. It went away. And so I think people were really emotional, and we did this really cool thing with the director Edgar Wright, who's really great and has kind of been really good to Empire over the years. And used to be a reader, or still is a reader, I guess, but now he's a famous director as well. But he actually dropped Chris Hewitt and I a line, my colleague Chris Hewitt and I, and he said, how about this for an idea? Like, I'll ask famous filmmakers for their favorite cinema memory. Because I think everyone at that time was missing it and feeling emotional. And of course, we were like, sure. And then it turned into this insane thing where I had Ed forwarding me emails. Every morning I'd have these emails in my inbox, and it was like, oh, it's an email from Steven Spielberg. Oh, it's James Cameron is going to do an hour-long Zoom. And John Hamm, Chris Evans. I mean, it was literally just the most famous people you can imagine. And they were all just saying yes and writing these amazing pieces.
Bored out of their mind.
But also just kind of going, this incredible thing that we maybe took for granted. Like, let's not take it for granted. So it turned out to be, we turned it into the cover story, and it was a really special issue.
That's amazing. And you have like a wealth of kind of cinematic history to help you out there as well, that everyone shares. What's it like? Because you've interviewed some like really big stars, like you mentioned James Cameron. Do you get starstruck, and how do you kind of put yourself and them at ease when there's kind of this massive elephant in the room of like, you're James Cameron.
Well, yes. I mean, I don't know if starstruck is the word, but definitely nervous. I think when you're talking to James Cameron or Tom Cruise, there's part of your brain that, or mine at least, that is going haywire, because you're going, this is the Tom Cruise. And I haven't actually interviewed Tom Cruise, so it's a bad example. But, when you're talking to someone like that, your brain is like, this is the person. He doesn't seem like a real person. They seem like, bigger than life. They don't actually exist walking around in the world.
Like a cardboard cutout, but they're actually moving type energy.
Yeah, exactly. And and then these people are generally almost always, maybe always, like incredibly smart, and they're very, very eloquent. There's a reason why they are where they are. So it's it can be daunting to try and keep up with them and just seem cool, like not to completely geek out.
Yeah.
But generally, they're really nice. Like, generally, I've actually spoken to James Cameron a few times this year because we're doing this big Avatar thing where we're doing something every issue on the new Avatar film. So I've done several interviews with him, and he's really, really, he's incredibly like genius level clever, but also just funny and down to earth, and so you just kind of hang on and try to ask the right questions. But yeah, he's great. I mean, there have been not that many examples of where I've had a bad experience doing an interview. But yeah, in terms of like being starstruck, yes, I think like I love films, and I always have. So there's always going to be a part of your like childhood self kind of, I got to go on the set of Jurassic World Dominion. And
nice.
I'd been in lockdown, like everyone had been in lockdown, so that had just lifted, and I'd barely seen any humans. And suddenly I was at Pinewood, surrounded by animatronic dinosaurs with Jeff Goldblum, Laura Dern, and Sam Neill. And Jurassic Park is a film that I watched when I was like 12, obsessively. And you can't really be entirely professional. It's like, because there's part of you that is just exploding with joy. So, but I think that's part of it. I think that's right. That's how it should be. And I think
that's more fun.
Yeah, I think Empire's written by people who are just fans and love cinema, and so I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. I was thinking about, like, I'm a massive Star Wars fan as well. Like, I feel like if I was there, I would just be like losing my mind somewhat. But as you're saying, you have to sort of love cinema. You have to sort of like be passionate about it to be in this world so much. Do you know where did that start for you? Like, where did your love of cinema come from? And how did that sort of translate into writing about film?
I mean, I don't know where it came from, but I have two brothers. My brother Phil is global film editor of Time Out, and and did work at Empire for a while, so he's very very into film. My other brother is really into film as well. And so, I don't know, just as a family, I think we all just used to go to the cinema a lot.
He's not at Sight and Sound, is he?
No. No. The three of us duking it out. Yeah. Maybe he is. But no, I don't know. I mean, I've always loved film, and it's always been a big thing for me. I remember the school I went to a school called Caldecott in Buckinghamshire, and they filmed Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves in the forest in Burnham Beeches, right next to where we were. And I remember finding an arrow in the forest, because we used to do cross country through there. And I remember that was the most exciting thing ever. Like any sort of interaction with the world of film made me very excited. I joined the Indiana Jones fan club when I was very young. It only lasted for 1 month, and then it closed down.
No.
Sad. Yeah.
What happened to it?
I think just general. I might have been the only member. I just remember. I don't know. I remember I got issues. Yeah, I got a comic book. They gave me a comic book, and then it just closed. So that was disappointing. But yeah, I remember making my dad take me to the video shop the day that Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade came out, because I was and an hour before the shop opened, because I was convinced there was going to be a massive line of people outside, and we were the only people, and so we just had to wait for an hour. My poor dad. So I don't know, and then really in a weird sort of feedback loop, Empire was really important, because Phil used to buy Empire, and then I would read his hand-me-down copy, and so that was like that's all kind of mixed up. That I used to read the magazine and learn stuff about film, and then go to see it and all that. But yeah, I've always kind of been, really, really into it. I remember going to see The Fugitive, and taking a little tape recorder and recording the film, the audio.
Oh, really?
I probably shouldn't admit this. I don't know. This interview may take me down.
Delete.
Yeah. It was only the audio, and I didn't do anything. I didn't sell it on the dark web. Yeah, but I did like.
Well, that's funny because I definitely feel like I came across an audio recording of that on LimeWire back in the day.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would just lie in bed and I would listen to like the foot chase from The Fugitive, which isn't very good when you're only listening to the audio. You kind of need the pictures as well. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how old you guys. I think you guys are significantly younger than me. But I remember when I was growing up that we had dial-up internet, so we had like AOL. And
I had that as well.
And it would take like an hour to download like a trailer and 20 minutes to download like an image from Independence Day. So you'd be there while the modem was like clunking away and making weird squeaky noises. And and you
that was really good. That was excellent.
And then I was just transported back in time.
Yeah, I just remember I'd be downloading like pictures, stills from like the X-Files, and it would like load so slowly you'd get like a little bit of David Duchovny's nose every like 30 seconds. And
but then halfway through the photo downloading it stops because someone needs to make a phone call, and then you have to restart the photo and you're like, no, god damn it.
No, the worst nightmare.
But yeah, so you were watching stuff there, and then where did you think that this love of cinema would translate into a job in the industry?
Not really. I never really dared to dream that it would take me anywhere. Like I would have been very presumptuous to kind of think, oh, one day I'm going to get to work for this magazine, or like I never imagined I would be editor. Like that was something that never even occurred, like even when I was working there. But I don't know. I think I just it just kind of happened a bit organically that I got to university and I really hadn't put any thought into what I was going to do after. I was just doing the course that I enjoyed doing the most, which was English literature and films, and I was doing film modules. I was at Sheffield.
Nice. Sheffield.
Sheffield, yeah. And every opportunity I got, I would take a film module, and I was really lucky that there was a brilliant course. And I wrote my dissertation on Terminator 2. And the Cyberdyne sequence, which is so cool. Pretentious. I mean, I've still got it, and I'm wanging on about extra diegetic sound and trying to sound clever. And no, I never imagined I would get to talk to James Cameron and Schwarzenegger about Terminator. No, I never would have imagined that would happen. So I just got to the end of my course there, or near the end, and I was like, oh god, I better think about what I do next. And really, it was just like the thing I love the most is film, and either I'm going to work in films or I'm going to write about them. Those were the two dream things. So I tried my hand at both, and it kind of came together. But I became a runner. Like I basically did some research, and I found out what was filming in all the different studios around where I lived, and I contacted them all and said, I've got a car. I had my mum's car, the sort of rundown old Fiesta, and I said, if you need someone with a car, I think that was really helpful. Because massively, because I got hired on the second Harry Potter film to basically drive around in my mum's Fiesta and pick up food and basically feed everyone on post-production.
One of the most important jobs.
Yeah, it was stressful because it is really important, and I was getting lunches for the producers and the director, and and then laying out a buffet every night. So that was my first, and honestly, that was the most exciting. I mean, I was 22 and I'd just come out of university, and I'd never been on a film set, and suddenly I was on Harry Potter, like at Leavesden.
With Chris Columbus as well, right? That was the second one.
Chris Columbus, the actors, they were doing post-production for the film, but they had all the sets up and they were doing scenes, so you could watch them doing the sound and the visual effects, but then you could also go over to Hagrid's hut and take call sheets over to it was extremely exciting. Like go to the Great Hall, and it was amazing. It was really, 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 really amazing experience. And then I did a few more films, and then I realized that I wasn't really qualified to do anything in film beyond buying salads, and I wasn't even that good at that. So
And then what steered you to writing?
Well, at the same time as I was doing the runner stuff, I also did work experience at a bunch of magazines, including Empire, but also Total Film and Time Out and a bunch of music magazines. And I was really kind of thinking, I love magazines. I love reading magazines. I love films. I would love to be doing something at one of those. And I was lucky again. Like I think I have had a lot of luck because my work experience at Empire was they needed someone for 2 weeks because they were moving office. And so it wasn't a very glamorous 2 weeks because I was essentially boxing things up and I didn't really talk to anyone. But I think I was seen as being helpful. And then on my last day, I walked over to the desk of the reviews editor at the time, this guy called Alan Morrison, really nice guy. And I just said, if you need anyone to write anything, I'll do anything. And as it happened, there was somebody who was supposed to review a film called The Wash, which is not a good film. It's Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre running a car wash, and it's got a cameo from Eminem.
On paper, that ticks a lot of boxes.
On paper, Ellen's in.
Yeah. If you've wanted to see Dr. Dre really like lavering up a car and getting, Snoop Dogg with a chamois, but I was just so excited, like that they wanted me to do something, so I went along and went along to the screening. And saw the film, and I gave it 3 stars, which is almost certainly not what it deserved. It probably didn't deserve 3, but I haven't revisited it. And I filed my, 100-word review, which I agonized over because I was like, this could be my portal into something. And so I remember being so like scared sending it off. And then Alan, bless him, like commissioned me again. And
wow.
And it got me to do something with Ice Cube. I'm not sure why, but he kind of
just really got funneled into the rapper kind of genre.
Yeah. Genuinely, I wasn't going to complain, but I also did Barbershop. I did Soul Plane. I was like, I don't know what it is about me that he thinks
you just ooze hip hop.
I'm just pure hip hop. So I did those, and then I did Scooby Doo 2: Monsters Unleashed. And I mean,
nice.
Honestly, I'm under no illusions that I was given the absolute dregs of what no one else wanted to do, but. That's
I don't know. I love that Scooby-Doo film.
Me too.
That's
I found out recently.
James Gunn.
I didn't realize it was James Gunn. Yeah. I literally found that out recently because I don't know. I suppose he wasn't super known at the time. I guess.
No.
He'd been around, but I think that was before Slytherin stuff, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
But when you look back, you're suddenly like, oh yeah, I mean, it's kind of almost obviously a James Gunn film to some degree. Although he didn't write it, right? There was a different writer.
Yeah, you know more than me. I think you should have done the review, frankly. I don't know.
What did you give it? Do you remember?
Oh my god. I think I gave that one 2. I don't have fond memories. I think I was becoming slightly more discerning at that point. So yeah, I was doing that at the time, and I went to Total Film, like I said, and I was there for a week, and they were really nice there as well, and gave me some stuff to do, and I actually got something printed in Total Film from work experience, which is quite rare, and I was very excited about that. And then I would do book reviews for SFX, and just kind of really just asking, and I don't know if I have any real advice, but I think just go in and just seem keen and just ask, just offer. And, generally a place will have something that no one wants to do. And if you just seem like you are excited, and I was excited to be doing it all, then that's good. It goes a really long way. And then also file your copy on time. Don't miss deadlines. I don't think I've ever missed a deadline. And I didn't realize like that's actually quite rare. Like people do miss deadlines and it's super annoying. But that's important as well. But anyway, I was doing those 2 things concurrently, and the film thing kind of fizzled out. I worked on the thing that kind of killed it for me. I worked on Tomb Raider 2, and so I worked on Harry Potter, and I was on did work experience on Die Another Day, the Bond film, and I got to take Pierce Brosnan some peanut butter to his trailer, and I got to see the invisible car chase. Not a good scene, but a great thing to see being seen if you've never been on a movie set.
These are all like quite iconic things.
Yeah. I didn't know it at the time.
About. You went straight to the
good stuff.
Well, I don't know. I mean, why not? Pinewood is there. They're shooting a Bond film, and so why not ask if you can go on it? And then Yeah, and then I did. So these were like happy sets where people wanted to be there, and then I was on Tomb Raider 2, the Angelina Jolie sequel.
Yeah.
And that was not such a happy time, and you can really kind of you could feel it. It was not, people didn't really want to be there, and it was quite a bad vibe. And then the thing that really just made me decide I'd had enough was I worked maybe I shouldn't be saying all this, but I worked on a film called Round the World in 80 Days, and it was Jackie Chan and Steve Coogan.
Yeah.
And that was again just like very, very long hours, and just people didn't really enjoy working on it, and there was just a bit of a bad vibe. So I kind of, at that point, I was like, well, I don't really know where I go from here. So, and the magazine stuff was starting to go a bit better, so I was like, I'm just going to jump over to that.
Yeah.
And then I doubled down, and I went to London School of Journalism, and I did a sort of a diploma course and taught myself the basics of, or got taught the basics of journalism, and how to sub-edit and stuff. And then a job came up at Empire as sub-editor, and I'd just done the course, and I went for it. And again, I've never been so nervous. I've never wanted anything so much in my life.
Yeah.
I was so like aware that this is it. Like, this is literally my dream thing. And I didn't get a wink of sleep the night before. I'm still very bad at that. When I'm excited, if I'm going on a big set or something, I just won't sleep the night before. Like I get too keyed up, even now, which I think is a good sign, because I think it's anxiousness is the other side of excitement. So you got to just go, I'm just excited, so it's okay, just go with it. But I went and managed to get it, and that was 21 years ago.
Wow. What would be your advice, like, when you are in that sort of nervous state through lack of sleep? How do you try and present well still? Do you think that people ultimately will see through the nerves and see someone passionate generally, or do you think there are ways that you need to sort of manage yourself in that sort of formal setting, so that you can put your best foot forward?
Well, you just do your best at being professional and not coming off as super nervous. And I actually, weirdly, I find, it may not be the same for everyone, but I find, like, if you're like you haven't slept well, sometimes that actually kind of helps, because you get to a point where the nerves actually drop away, because and I think you can operate on not that much sleep. If you can't sleep, you can't sleep. There's nothing you can do about it. But generally, it's better to be rested, but sometimes it puts you in a zone where you're actually a bit kind of calmer and a bit kind of more focused, weirdly. Or maybe I'll just tell myself that. But no, I think you just, a lot of it is just about listening and not talking too much. And sometimes when you're nervous, you can talk. And I think in an interview environment, the worst thing you can do is not listen to the person. And it can be hard, because your brain is going in a million directions, and you're nervous, and you're thinking about your next questions. But often you'll listen back to it, and someone will say something, and you'll be like, oh, please tell me you asked a follow-up, and please tell me you were listening to that bit. And sometimes sometimes you're not. Sometimes you wish you had pursued it. But I think that's a big thing, is just trying to stay really focused on what the person's saying, and not just look at your list of questions. And whether you're on set or whether you're just on the phone or on Zoom, it's just listening. It's a real skill, and you're not always that good at it, but you try. That's the dream.
So is that something you got to do sort of straight away, like get involved in sort of those interviews and stuff as a sub-editor? And then could you explain as well for our listeners, like, what a sub-editor does compared to maybe what the different roles are as well, like within the organisation? How is it structured? Yeah,
sub-editor is a bit of a journalisty term, but essentially, okay, so you have an editor, who is me in this occasion, and you are where the buck stops. So you are keeping an eye on everything. You've got to get into the details, and read every single word, but you also have to have a big overview, and you have to decide what's on the cover. You have to make those covers happen in time. You have to solve problems, and you're talking to every member of the team every day. And problems are always coming up, and you are there to kind of, not micromanage ideally, but to kind of just make sure everything's running okay. Then you have the section editors. So in our case with Empire, you have the news section, you have the review section, you have the feature section, and you have the home entertainment section. So that's 4 sections. And then you have the creative director or lead designer, then the photography director who looks after the shoots and pictures. And then you have production editor, who in our case is Liz Moody, who's brilliant, and she has been there longer than I have. In fact, she hired me, and and so sub-editor is basically beneath the production editor, and it's essentially as sub-editor you get the layout for the page, but there won't be captions, there won't necessarily be a headline. The copy might be running long, no one has proofread it, so your job is to basically get that page, wrangle it all. So you might need to cut something down, you might need to cut lots of things down because everything is like in a little box, and you have to, that's a skill in itself, that you are trying to tune into the writer's style. So sorry if this is too granular detail.
No, this is perfect.
But I don't know how nerdy I could talk about this stuff for ages. But
be nerdy.
But essentially, like, I found it really, really helpful to be sub-editor, because as sub-editor, you're reading everyone's stuff and you are responsible for keeping their voice intact and keeping their points intact and not losing the meaning or changing the meaning of what they're doing. But you also might need to cut what they've written by 50%, maybe even 100%.
Wow.
Ideally not, but sometimes people wildly overwrite and just file it, and it ends up going through, and you are the person who has to boil it down. So it's not always easy. And then you're writing cells, which is beneath a headline. It's like a one sentence punchy thing. Draw people into the article. So it's a bit intense, because you get blamed if anything goes wrong, because it's like, if a mistake gets in, a spelling mistake or a factual error, then you're the one who's meant to catch it. If you've changed the writer's words and they're not happy, then so you have to really be on the ball. And it's also a bit of an unsung hero thing, because no one appreciates that. No one looks at a page and goes, "Wow, that's really well sub-edited." You go, "That's great." You go, "That's great design," or "That's great writing." But no one really knows. If you've done your job right, no one knows that you were there. It's one of those jobs.
Yeah.
But I found it incredibly helpful, because I spent a few years. Before I kind of went on to the next role, like I spent a few years like really reading everything and absorbing everything and getting an ear for different people's writing and getting an ear for, and you really get, like, as sub-editor, you really get into the nuts and bolts of writing, and being able to, like, it's given me loads of skills that have been helpful, even going beyond it. And in my own writing as well, I think it's made me a better writer, because you kind of go, if I have to lose 30 words off a 100-word review, and you're looking for how to do that, you start analysing what are the weak spots, what are the repetitions, what are the redundancies. And so, and I am getting a bit granular here, but that stuff's really helpful as a writer, just to make your writing, and every word should count, and it teaches you that. So yeah.
And is sub-editor then, is that an entry-level role, or are there roles below that or before that?
It's kind of is an entry-level job, yeah. We don't actually have a full-time sub-editor on Empire anymore, so we have freelancers who come in and do it. So that role actually kind of appeared, like it was made, I got it, and then when I left, they didn't replace me. So I am Empire's only sub-editor.
Oh, no.
I don't know what I did wrong.
I'd suggest that meant you left a sour taste in everyone's mouth, but obviously you'll hear it in the even more senior.
Or you were irreplaceable.
That, Dan, or I was irreplaceable. Yeah, I like Ellen's theory much better than that one. But who knows? The jury's out. So kind of, it's super important. So I did that, and to answer your question, no, I didn't really get to do anything. I was kind of in the office all the time, and I wasn't getting to do anything. And I really wanted to be a writer, because that was kind of like always like, I want to be writing, I want to be interviewing people, I've got ideas. So another thing that was really helpful for me being a sub-editor is I had to create my own opportunities, because I wasn't being given them.
Sure.
So the first few features that I wrote for Empire were ideas that I came up with that were kind of, it wasn't like I want to interview James Cameron. I had an idea for something called Unknown Icons, and it was people who are really famous for being in like one scene in a movie. So for instance, the Gimp from Pulp Fiction. Everyone knows the Gimp from Pulp Fiction, but no one has spoken to the Gimp from Pulp Fiction. What's his story? And also like the girl in the red coat from Schindler's List, the banjo guy from Deliverance, like all of these kind of, the rabbit from Donnie Darko. So I tracked down all of these, like 10 of these people, and got their story, and the features editor kind of greenlit that. And it was really hard work. It took me like months and months and months to track down some of these people, but it was kind of the perfect thing, because it kind of showed, A, I can do it, and B, I can put a lot of effort in and stick at something. And that's a really big thing. It's been a really big thing, I think, is just if you have an idea, stick with it. Like, don't give up, no matter how hard it is. Just keep going and going. And some of the things I've been most proud of are things that have taken like a year, that have taken ages, and you know, you kind of do it because other people aren't going to do it as well. It's like, you know, it's
and
really,
I think there's a perception that journalism is like a very quick turnover as an art form, but that's not the case.
Yeah, it can be. It can feel very frantic. Like, I just wrote a cover story in like 3 days, and I wish I'd had a year. You know, it would have been nice. So there are deadlines that we're contending with, but I also think, like, the more time you have, some things take a long time to come together, and some things have come through right at the last minute and can be very stressful. I did a feature where we got the 9 members of the Fellowship from Lord of the Rings to interview each other. So the idea was all 9 ask one of the others 9 questions, and then that one asks another one 9 questions. So it goes around in a big ring or loop, and it was really stressful. I mean, I was like excited because we got a yes quite quickly, but then getting the last few to do it was not easy. And I guess on the page it just looks like it was easy, but I'm not blaming him by no means, because he's a lovely guy, but Sean Bean was particularly difficult. I think he was just off the grid. He was filming something, and sometimes when actors are filming something, they don't want to think about anything else. They're just so that was really, that we got his answers and his questions for Orlando Bloom like right at the last minute, and it was so close to the wire. But if we hadn't started that like 6 months ahead of time, it just wouldn't have happened. So
of course. I keep thinking there must be some kind of Sean Bean meme in there, like one does not simply join the group interview.
Exactly. Perfect.
That's so cool, though.
You've done it. Let's get it made. Let's get it made.
No, that sounds like such a cool feature. What was your favorite thing as well you learned from the thing with like the Gimp and the Donnie Darko, you know, the hidden sort of heroes? What was your favorite discovery out of all those people? That sounds like such a fascinating quest.
Well, I don't know. Have you guys seen Deliverance, the film?
Which one's it?
Burt Reynolds and it's the 70s one. So it's like they have a banjo duel with the sort of rather inbred looking guy, and that guy has only been in that, and it was hard to track him down. He was like washing dishes at a kind of place in Florida, I think, and it was hard to find him. With the Gimp, my favorite discovery was that was a rental. That thing, if you remember, he was wearing like this horrible like rubber. PVC bodysuit. He also appears in the Austin Powers movies because he's also a friend of Mike Myers. But
so this guy's really well connected, but doesn't directly work in film. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, his name's Stephen Hibbert, and he's I think in a comedy. I think he's like a comedy guy. Maybe does like improv comedy or something. But he was a lovely man. Okay. But you know, everyone has got like an amazing story, really. Like if you dig deep enough, I think you know everyone's got funny anecdotes, and well, almost everyone. There are some people you don't want to interview, but I'm not going to name them.
No, of course. Until we stop recording. And then tell us all.
Well, there's one actor. I'm not going to name him because he's still famous, and we'll probably have to talk to him for Empire soon. But I had to talk to him for a cover story a few years ago, and he said it was 20 minutes. So generally, you get 20 minutes or half an hour with the actor. Yeah. Bit longer with the director, and so I had I think it was 20, fortunately not 30, but he started off by saying, I don't talk about my characters until after the film is out. And I was like, okay.
What are we going to talk about then?
We ended up talking about vacuum cleaners. Like, I'm not kidding. It was painful. That was a painful one. So that
did you have to sort of think on the spot of how you were gonna
just panicked
change direction?
I know, you just look at your questions going, oh my god. I mean, you can always talk about there's always stuff you can ask, like, you know, what was the director like, and what was the craft services like? You know, you can go into those. But it was difficult.
Yeah. That's amazing. So being in your position, does that mean you still get to write articles, you still get to do interviews? Does that mean you can essentially assign yourself to any of the things that are going to be in any magazine, or does it not work out quite as open as that?
On paper, yes, I can, but I try not to abuse that too much. The timing of this is bad because I have played the editor card a couple of times this year. So
is that because there's a film coming out that is a particular, like, you're just too excited about? What films were they? Can I ask?
I can't. I can't say, unfortunately. But no, okay. I'm going on a set tomorrow, which I'm extremely excited about, and I can't say. I wish I could, but I can't. I can't say. It's very top secret. But I'm very excited, but for reasons I can't really mention.
I didn't know if it was like Jurassic World related because of your.
No, I actually no. It was my colleague Dan Jolin, who used to be our features editor and actually commissioned me to do those first features. He did Jurassic. I've done 3 Jurassics now, and that's enough. I think it's a thing where you kind of want to let someone else do it, and also you just you've written, what more can I write about T-Rexes? I've done that. So, but yeah, I try not to abuse that and play that card too much. And I do some writing, but I don't do a huge amount. But I did take Naked Gun for myself. I don't know if anyone else wanted it, but I love the Naked Gun films. Have you guys seen Naked Gun, the original?
Yeah. You excited about the new one?
I am. Yeah. I love.
I'm hopeful. I haven't seen the trailer yet. I know there's a trailer that just came out the other week, but I haven't seen it yet.
It's Liam Neeson doing comedy, so I'm intrigued, and Pamela Anderson, and then the director, a guy called Akifa Schaffer, is part of Lonely Island, and I'm a real Saturday Night Live. I'm really into Saturday Night Live, and yeah, they did Lonely Island is like him and Andy Samberg and Jorma Taccone, if I'm saying that name right, and they are like heroes of mine. And they did Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stopping, which is one of the best, maybe I'd say the best comedy of the last 10 years. So.
Oh really? I haven't seen that. I'm a big Lonely Island fan. I like their videos that they used to do back in the day were amazing. Their music videos, like really good songs as well. Yeah, and then just hilarious as well at the same time.
Check out Popstar again, and anyone listening, check out Popstar Never Stop Never Stopping, which is so funny, and like you say, the music is incredible as well.
Yeah. No, I will check it out. So as we sort of come towards the end, we sort of try to sort of ask about what you were doing in your younger years, although I feel like we sort of have like a nice sense of that. Briefly, I wonder, just before we sort of find out what maybe your advice would be for your younger self, I wonder, for those younger people that are around today that maybe really want to do this, what is a way into film journalism and writing about film? Are all the writing positions, do you a lot of freelance writers? Do people write for multiple magazines? Like how does that or do you have runners involved in your organization as well? Like, what's a good way in for people?
Well, I mean, I don't want to be doom and gloomy. I don't want to be doom and gloomy, because I do think there's always a place for, good writing and good journalism. I would say print journalism is, I don't think it's a secret that it's tough times. Our competitor Total Film, who, like I mentioned earlier, was super nice to me when I started there, so I always had a soft spot, even as I attempted to crush them. But kidding. No, they were a lovely bunch of people, and they sadly closed last year, and and it is tough times. Like, I think we're under so much competition now with websites and social media and TikTok and it's all changing so fast. So it is hard, but I like to think that there's always a place for good long form journalism. So I mean, staff jobs are very few and far between, I would say. They do sometimes come up, but they're few and far between. In terms of like freelancing, we do use a lot of freelancers, and I would say that, do pitch us, because we don't get that many pitches. I would say that's the surprising thing people might learn. I imagine a lot of people are put off because they imagine that we are drowning in pitches and people don't have a chance. Actually, we don't get that many, and we don't get that many good ones. And by good pitch, I would say, come up with an original idea. Know whether it's Empire or something else, just know the publication that you're pitching to, and just give a sense that what kind of magazine or newspaper it is. And I think just pitch a good idea. And really, I don't know what else to say beyond pitch something you would like to read. Like that is entirely like, that's always been my guiding light. There's nothing else to it. Imagine you're the reader, and that's what we always try and do. And we still think of ourselves as we're just the readers, and we're just trying to speak to the readers and be the readers. And that's what we do, whether we're going on a set or doing an interview. It's like, what do the readers want to know? Like, that's all there is to it, really. And you want to keep that connection. So whenever I've pitched a feature, it's just been, you know, this is a cool story. This is a fun story. And I wrote a piece recently about the Barbarian brothers, who I'd never even heard of before this year, who are these two. I don't know if do you guys know the Barbarian brothers? I won't go into too much detail, but basically after Arnie did Conan the Barbarian, there was a big wave of big bodybuilders doing sword and sorcery movies. And these were two twin brothers who were just absolutely ridiculous. And they made this incredible film called The Barbarians. And they're just ridiculous. They ate dozens of eggs each a day and just had such a ridiculous story. So I just thought that's a fun article. So I just did a load of research and you know, that just came out of nowhere. But we do this feature series called The Deep Dive, which is no interviews involved, no access. It's just a writer on a subject doing research and writing a fun story, and it can be on anything. We've done 6 pages on a raven called Jimmy the Raven. That was one of my favorite things that we've printed, and it's ludicrously detailed story of a literal bird that became a movie star, and it's in It's a Wonderful Life and Wizard of Oz, and why was this raven so famous? And and in a way, it's the easiest bit of the mag, because we don't have to get interviews, and we're creating our own art and all this, and you know, but the readers really love it. And I think that just shows you that you don't need, it's nice to have big world exclusives and Tom Cruise and the first interview and the first picture and all this kind of stuff. But ultimately, a good story is the heart of Empire, and it's the heart of any magazine, really, I think. So I would just say, just watch stuff, read stuff, consume stuff. And if something grabs you, if something jumps out, then likely it will for other people as well. That's how I've always felt. Just go with your instinct. I would just say go for it. If you really want to do it, if it's the number one thing that you want to do, just go for it. Because you know, I don't think any of us at Empire had connections or anything. We just really wanted it, and we just were determined. And I would say that's it. Yeah.
So lastly, then, what advice? That's great advice for everyone else, but what advice would you give yourself if you could travel back in time in the DeLorean?
I would say,
and whisper into your teenage self's ear.
Keep that arrow from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. So what did you do with it? That could have made you some money. I don't know. I genuinely don't know what I did with it. Yeah, so I'm sad about that. That probably wouldn't be the only thing I would say, but that's it. That would be the big one. No, I would. I would probably. I don't know. I would say, you know. I don't know. I would say, go for it. And I would probably give myself the advice of broadening my tastes a bit. I think it took me a long time. I was super into blockbusters, but it took me a long time to, and even now, I'm in my mid-40s and I'm discovering directors that I haven't really kind of delved into before, and types of cinema. And I would just say, just try different things. Don't just watch that videotape of Jurassic Park for the 18th time. Or double bill it with something else. But I would say just consume as much as
diet.
Have a varied diet. And you know, I wish I'd discovered Wong Kar-wai and Jim Jarmusch much earlier in life, and these directors who I think are amazing now. And I think that's a good lesson for anyone, is just consume a lot and just try different things, and you just don't know what's gonna hit. And I think also, if you are trying to get into journalism, film journalism or whatever, I think having that knowledge and not just having the obvious, you know, Empire is big on blockbusters, but if someone pitches us a piece on a big blockbuster, we've probably thought of it ourselves already. But having that kind of more niche knowledge is really helpful if you're trying to make your mark with a pitch. You know, come at us with something that we don't know.
100%. Nick, thank you so much. It's been really wonderful.
Thank
you for sharing your wisdom with the next generation of filmmakers and film journalists and people in the industry. So, it was really, really exciting to speak with you.
Thank you so much for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
I am obsessed with Empire magazine, Ellen. Truth be told, my dad has the largest collection that the world has ever seen, and that's not much of an exaggeration. There's literally entire walls of their house dedicated to Empire. Well, I say walls, it's like bookshelves.
Yeah.
They're just stacked. He's been subscribed to it for years.
That's amazing, because you kept that under wraps.
Yeah, no, I tried to I tried to not just embarrass myself and completely nerd out, but also so it was actually really exciting on a personal level. To chat with Nick, and just so fascinating as well.
And
I think what struck me is that whatever sort of area of film you work in, very few people do it not from a place of absolute love and adoration for the industry, I guess. Like, Nick was passionate about film before he knew this is where he would end up or what he wanted to do. And it's sort of, I feel like, still there,
And
that passion.
And I also really enjoy when you speak to people and you can see that their brain is sort of on a setting of film references, and they can just like spitfire them out in this sort of language of film references, and that shows that it's sort of just second nature, which is really nice to see and hear.
I really want to go and read all that the what's it called, the feature covering all the hidden heroes in the film.
Yeah, me too. I need
to dig that out.
I really enjoy features that sort of pick up on patterns in film, or take like a small thing from lots of different films and put them together. That's a great way to do things.
Yeah, like the rabbit in Donnie Darko. I'm like, where is that guy? Who is that guy?
Yeah. I need to know.
Can you think of any hidden heroes or like unsung heroes in film that you'd be interested in sort of a follow up on? If Ella was in charge of this.
There's a scene in Love Actually, and I've seen this online because it was a video compilation of like the best sort of extra performances in or like non-main character performances in Love Actually, or like in Christmas films. And there's a lady in Love Actually who's like drinking a glass of champagne while one of the main characters is talking on like New Year's Eve or something, and she's literally like her expressions and like actions are so over the top and she like literally steals the scene. It's so funny, and she's being so camp, and I just want to know where she is. And like, I really respect her for putting that much into her 2 seconds of screen time. Champagne lady from Love Actually is my hidden hero.
She sounds like an icon. I can't remember her personally, Ellen, but I'm glad she's made an impression on you.
Yeah.
And I'll be sure to, next time I watch Love Actually, to look out for her.
Yeah. I'll see if I can find a clip of it.
Which moment in the film is it?
I think it's when I can't remember the Bill Nye character, when his
Where he's giving a speech.
He's giving a speech about their song that is about to release.
And his producer's not there at that point? I can't remember.
Something or another. But it's like a room of people. I think it's on...
Yeah, because he's at the party and he realises that he's meant to go and be with the one he loves, which is his producer.
Yeah, and I think it's on TV.
What a great movie.
Being screened. Yeah.
But no, it's super cool. Genuinely, like.
Do you have a hidden hero?
Oh, I'm trying to think. Okay, here's my hidden hero, which I only learned about today. So it's not someone that I want to find out about, but I discovered him today, and that is the body double for Hagrid.
Okay.
So I watched a video on YouTube today talking about this guy that essentially. He's like 7 foot tall or something, and then they put him on these extra like half a foot stilts, and then they put him in this massive bodysuit and with a latex head that matches Robbie Coltrane. And he also in the second film onwards, it was an animatronic head, and it would eventually like move as he spoke as well. And he is Hagrid in like more than half the shots. if it's a wide shot or if it's a shot from behind, it's this guy. It's this guy that also played Hagrid, and he'd copy how Robbie Coltrane moved and stuff. So obviously Robbie Coltrane's sort of like defining the character and stuff, and it's taking absolutely nothing away from him. But there's this other guy that is a massive part of the Hagrid we know and love on screen.
Wow. Yeah.
And it was really cool to find out about. And I was thinking, this guy literally played this role for 10 years. And, was probably sweating and itchy and gross under that suit all day, every day, for like 12-hour days. And we just don't know about him.
Yeah.
And we don't really know he exists. And he was a big part of the magic of Hagrid. I know for the first couple of films, I remember them being like, oh, we won't tell you how we did Hagrid. And one of the answers is there was another guy.
Yeah.
And,
I think those body doubles, or those, I don't know, I read a book once that was about it was fiction, but it was imagining the life of the person who played E.T.
Okay.
And like how they were just sort of a normal person, what happened to their career after playing E.T. or being the kind of body for E.T. And it was a very interesting concept. But yeah. And then I've got another hidden hero from Harry Potter that reminded me. Is do you remember in The Prisoner of Azkaban, one of the students who says, he has that line when he's like, they're talking about Sirius Black, and he's like, it's like trying to catch smoke with your bare hands.
Yeah.
And he says that line, and it is like the most like bone chilling line in the film. And like
that dude who just pops up and is just the doom and gloom.
Like, you don't see him again really ever in the film.
Doesn't he have another moment in the same film? Isn't he there twice in that film? But he's only there to say ominous stuff in divinations class.
But he just
because isn't he the guy that also says the grim is his da da da? Do you know what I mean?
Maybe
he says something about. He says, I might be mistaken.
But he's another scene stealer that is not. He's not a main character, but he leaves an impression on you for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like our feature article would be not as interesting as Nick's.
I think we could.
I think
we're almost there.
And one person from Love, actually.
Ellen, we have a question.
Hit me.
Our question is from... Who's it from? This is a question from Billy. Billy wants to know, he says, if you are a film critic, do you get to see movies before anyone else?
That's a great question.
Big question, Billy.
I'm pretty sure that the answer is yes.
Yes. Yeah, so they have critic screenings in advance is the answer. Sometimes they send them out now, actually. Sometimes they send them to people. But yeah, they what's it called? They also have critic screenings, but then what they do is they have like a bit of paperwork. You have to sign an NDA, or they have I can't remember what the official word is, but essentially you can't release the review until a certain date. It's like an embargo.
Yeah.
So you can watch the film, write your review, but all the reviews, so this is why every single review will come out for the same movie on the same day, is because the actual studio of that film sets the date. So Disney will be like, come to the preview screening of this movie, but you can write your review, but don't release it till X date. And then on X date, everyone publishes their articles. And there you go.
So
yes, Billy.
Yeah, the answer is yes.
If you want to be a film journalist, you'll get to see it early, before anyone else, and you'll know what happens. But sometimes I think this doesn't happen on something like, let's say, the Harry Potter finale. The reviewers, I think, just have to watch that and write their reviews and release them within 24 hours, because some things are just under such hot wraps that they just won't do the screenings.
I also,
but generally there's a lot of trust.
I remember because I wrote a review for a film called Annette, which is a Leos Carax film, and I went to a early screening of it, a critic screening, and it was the first review that I'd ever written, and I wasn't. It was the first kind of invited to review something review I'd
How
ever
did that
written.
feel?
It was pretty exciting, but I was invited to the film, and I was kind of under the impression that it might be like I'd have to not dress up a little bit, but it was like a premiere or something, or just like a sort of I think it was in like Soho House or something, and it was quite like a sophisticated sort of location and event. So I made sure to not look too scruffy, basically. But I turned up, and it was really just like going to the cinema. There was just like a bunch.
It's not a premiere.
Like it was really sweet. I think I was about like I was 19, 20, and
Yeah.
I just rocked up, and there were loads of just sort of critics there on their own in their jeans with a notepad and like a can of Coke.
That's it. Maybe Nick was there.
Maybe we crossed paths
before.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then thank you for joining me as always. This has been real joy.
Yeah,
I
this
just
has
want
been
to
a
say
really
final
special
note.
episode.
Absolutely. I just want to say final note. Like we really love Empire, and what Nick's managed to do in terms of keeping the continuity in the voice of Empire. We love and we admire. It's genuinely the first place I go to find out what people think of a movie. That and Rotten Tomatoes. I'll go to Rotten Tomatoes and check what Empire's thinking, and then I take a view and I'm like, maybe I quite like this film. So just with that in mind, you sort of appreciate how much fanboying I'm doing. So yeah, a real treat. And a lot of wisdom shared. So thank you to Nick, thank you to Ellen, and do send us your questions.
Thank you to you as well, Dan.
Podcast. Oh, thank you for thanking me.
Let we not forget you.
Lest we not forget. But yeah, send us your question, podcast@youngfilmacademy.co.uk, and we'll see you on a future episode. Speak to you soon.
Bye.